Hey guys, Dr. Snellgrove here, just recording a quick video for our 8-week 1101 class to introduce our third and final major essay, and it is a problem solution essay. Although it's a little different. I feel like all our essays have been a little different. So please pay close attention as we talk about what you're doing here. Now, first, I'm gonna step on my own notes to say that I'm going to have like an example essay or two uploaded to Canvas by the time this video is live. I'd really like to encourage you to check out those example papers. Obviously, you can email me, you can text me if you have questions about what you're doing. But I've tried. We'll see how successful I am. But I've tried to make the last essay kind of a paint by numbers. Like, there is a super specific way of doing it, but once you know the super specific way of doing it, I'm hoping that's going to make it easier. Anyways, what are we doing here? All right, once again, you're getting to pick your own topics. I don't know if you guys are getting sick of this by now, but you need to pick a problem that is solvable, but we haven't come up with a good solution yet. So there's a lot of things, people will pick obvious stuff like climate change, nothing wrong with that. Obesity in America, nothing wrong with that. But it's meant to be any kind of wide scale problem. But the point is, it's one that we haven't solved yet. And I know I sound weird saying that. I'm just trying to forestall somebody being like, I picked polio. It's like, well, we had that one figured out. All right, so you're picking a problem that is solvable, but we haven't come up with a good solution yet. It could be climate, it could be mass shooting, climate change, mass shootings, all sorts of stuff. Even I don't know, controversy surrounding elections. And then what are you going to do in the rest of the paper? All right, when I said that this is kind of a paint by numbers paper, all right, so once here's the good news. Actually, I feel like I don't give y'all enough good news. The good news is you saying we need to solve the problem basically is your thesis. You don't need to have a super specific. I know essay 1 and essay 2 both had gotta frame the thesis this way. And this is just a, hey, you saying that this is a problem that's worth solving, that we need to focus on solving, is the argument. It is the thesis. And that may sound weird, but you have to imagine a real world context where there's a lot of problems. We only have so much money, so much time, so much energy to solve, problems. We can't solve all of them. So the ones we do focus on, that's a choice. All right. So now, once you get into the body paragraphs, the first part, the first body paragraphs, first at least 3, it could always be more, but here's what you need to do. You are going to bring us one research-based solution per paragraph. We need to have at least 3, ultimately, research-based solutions. And I'm going to keep saying research-based. It's going to sound really annoying, but the reason I say that is you need to go find like sources. Here's a source where somebody has proposed this solution. And I'm saying this over and over, and I'm saying research-based, 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 but inevitably somebody is already in the middle of typing up an outline where they just came up with a bunch of ideas off the top of their head. That is not the assignment. If you are coming up with custom solutions to the problem, stop. You are doing it wrong. The whole point of this is to make your life easier and go out there. If you chose climate change, I'm not expecting you to personally figure out how to solve climate change. I'm expecting you to do some research. What are some ideas that are on the table? So what are you doing in these body paragraphs? All right, in each one of them, you are going to introduce the solution. You're going to explain briefly how the solution is supposed to work. Then you are going to tell us what the pros and cons are. Quite literally, for each solution, at least one pro, at least one con. And we're going to circle back to how you would evaluate pros and cons here in a minute, but I just want you to know that you're doing that. And that's the paint by number aspect of the essay I keep bringing up. It's like, all right, here's solution number 1. Introduce it, explain how it works. What are the pros? What are the cons? All right, next paragraph. Here's solution number 2. Introduce it, explain it, how it works. What are the pros? What are the cons? Solution number 3, introduce it, explain it. What are the pros? What are the cons? So this is meant to be a very formulaic thing. All right. And then what do you do after you've done that? After you have a minimum of 3 research-based solutions you found from research, not solutions you came up with on your own, then it shifts to an argumentative mode, where basically you're going to argue which one of these solutions is best and why. So this argumentative part should take up at least 1 page. It could always take up more if you want, but we want to see you really engage with, all right, you just brought us 3 different solutions. You just pointed out each one has its pros and cons. So if you're saying, let's go with solution number 2, that's the best one. Why? So we need at least a page of you arguing how and why is solution number 2 better than solution number 1 and solution number 3. Why are the benefits of solution number 2 better than the other benefits, and why are the cons, the drawbacks of solution number 2, not as much of a deal breaker as they are with the others? All right, so both in the early part, when you're getting into the pros and cons, and also when you're arguing which solution is best, you need to figure out, how am I going to even evaluate that? There's multiple ways you can do this, but the thing that I put here in the description, and I'm recommending you primarily use, is effectiveness, time, and cost. All right, so cost and time, I think, are pretty self-explanatory. Like, sometimes the problem with the solution is just it's going to cost way too much money, or sometimes the problem with the solution is going to take way too long to implement, and the problem's that dire we need to solve it now, or at least try to solve it now. Sometimes you might think, well, why wouldn't we always go with the most effective solution? It's like, well, usually because it's more expensive or will take too long. So this is one of those, I hate to say it this way, but this is one of those real world contexts where it's like, okay, how and why would should we go with this solution? Sometimes you're going to be championing the solution that's not necessarily the most theoretically effective solution. You're championing the one that you think has the most odds of getting off the ground. Like, hey, if the problem is bad enough, it might be important that we focus on even an imperfect solution now, instead of focusing on a perfect solution that might never happen. All right, so all the mechanical details, they are the same. 5 double-space pages, font size Times New Roman, font size 12. The main change, I am going to have some video content about, or at least some uploaded content about MLA stuff. The main change is our first 2 essays did not require research. Research was optional. For this essay, research is required. And so I didn't mean to sound like a smartass. I probably always sound like a smartass, but it's a minimum of 3 sources. You can probably figure that out, though, because earlier I told you that you need to look at least 3 solutions, and each solution needs to come from a source, right? So that's why we get a minimum of 3 sources. All right, I got solution number 1 from this source. I got solution number 2 from this source. Got solution number 3 from this source. Hence, having 3 sources minimum. All right, so again, by the time you're watching this video, I will also have some example essay or essays uploaded. Please review that. Please review the video. Please review the online assignment. And y'all know the deal at this point. If you have any questions about any of it, feel free to text me. Feel free to email me. Text 863-835-2399. Y'all have a good one. Bye.